Hi, I'm Andrea Anthony, and you're watching Eat, Drink, and Bake with Andrea. Today, I have a great soup for you. It's a stick-to-your-ribs comfort soup, pasta fagioli, which is basically a pasta bean soup. We start off with the pasta and beans. Now I'm using ditalini, small pasta. You can use any type of small pasta you like. Doesn't have to be that. You can use little shells or whatever you like, but it needs to be small. And we're using cannellini beans. So that's basically the heart of the soup. And to go on to our chicken stock, we have our mirepoix, which is onion, carrot, and celery. And we have our olive oil, garlic of course, basil, fresh parsley, and we have some oregano, thyme, and rosemary for our flavoring, salt and pepper, and we have our Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, which we're going to mix into the soup, and it's just wonderful. And I have something very special I'm using. Most pasta fagioli recipes call for chopped tomatoes, tomato sauce, some form of tomatoes. I'm using Delamore marinara sauce, which is an amazing sauce that I found recently. And not only is it great as a finishing sauce, but it's a great ingredient to sort of boost the flavor of my recipes. Now this one happens to be the spicy recipe. I want to add a little kick to the soup, so we're going to start with this sauce. They're kind of interchangeable though. They make an original marinara sauce, they have the spicy, and they also have a sweet basil and garlic, which are all wonderful and they're interchangeable. But for the purposes of my recipe, I like a little heat in it, so I'm going to use this one. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to get the rest of our vegetables chopped. Let's start with the carrot. By the way, I'm using Gunter Wilhelm knives, which I love these knives, not only for professional use, but for home use. You know, a knife is an extension of your hand. When you're cooking, you need to feel comfortable with it. I love the handle. The handle has a really nice shape to it so that it feels good in your hand. It's all about feel good. We need good equipment and utensils when we're in the kitchen. And this really feels good, and what I like about it, it holds the edge. It's durable. So that's important to me when using knives. Okay, and this is actually one of my favorite knives. So we're going to get these carrots going here. Okay, and we're looking for sort of like a rough dice. Making sure, okay, that we sort of cup it this way and we work off of our knuckles, angled away from us. I'm telling you, this knife feels so good. There's nothing like using good equipment in the kitchen. I mean, that goes for pots and pans, all of your utensils, cutting boards, it all makes a difference. And we're going to dice this as well. Now notice I left the back in. That kind of keeps the onion together, so it's easy to cut. And there we go. Again, we want to claw the onion, pointing our fingers backwards so we don't cut them, and we're sliding right off the knuckle. Okay. And you really want to kind of angle it this way, kind of coming down on the onion. All right, so we're looking good. All right, I'm gonna get these vegetables together and then we're gonna move over to the stove. The first phase of the recipe is to get our vegetables going. So let's get our olive oil in there. By the way, that's extra virgin olive oil. Gotta use good olive oil. It's all about the ingredients. Okay, and I'm gonna get that garlic in there, which is fresh minced garlic, about 4 cloves. Okay, we'll give that a little bit of a stir. And we can just add all the vegetables. You can add them all at once. And we're gonna give those a bit of a stir, just to coat them in the olive oil. We're gonna let them cook a bit until they're slightly tender. Now here's a little tip on how to get these to cook a little bit faster. Use just a little bit of your chicken stock, because at this point we're just trying to get them to be tender, and immersed in the liquid, that'll sort of speed things up a bit. So we've let them saute for a little bit, and now we added a little bit of broth. We're gonna cook these a little bit longer. They're almost at the point where they need to be. Now we're ready for the chicken stock. Okay, we'll pour the rest in. Now, notice I have a little bit held aside. We're going to reserve that till the end of the recipe, and I'll show you why. All right, we're going to add our spices. So we have our herbs here, spices. We have the oregano. We have our thyme. We have our rosemary, fresh basil, fresh parsley. Let's add our salt and pepper, and we'll give that a little bit of a stir. Okay, now it's time for the sauce. Okay, so as I said, we're using the spicy sauce today. I need 2 cups of this. But again, if you're not into spicy sauce, you can always use the sweet basil and garlic. And they also have their original sauce, which works really well. I've tried them all actually, and they're all interchangeable depending upon what your particular tastes are. Okay, so we're using 2 cups. Now, I want you to look at this sauce. Look how beautiful this is. I have to taste this sauce. It's wonderful. It's the right balance of spices, flavorings. It's going to be wonderful in the sauce. Okay, very important, good ingredients. Okay, so let's add that in. And again, we're going to boost that flavor by using a sauce with just the right amount of garlic and spice, and it's just really, really nice in this recipe. Okay, so we're going to stir that up a bit. Now let's raise our heat. We're going to bring this to a boil, and then we're adding our pasta. We're ready for the pasta now. We're at a nice boil, so we're just going to stir in those ditallinis, give it a nice stir. Okay, and now we want to turn the flame down just a little bit, and we're going to let that simmer until they're just about cooked al dente. We'll be back. Okay, we're looking good now. The pasta is about al dente. Now I tasted it. Let's see. Yeah, pasta's about al dente, so we're good to add our beans. Now, incidentally, some recipes call for adding the beans, the whole can of beans, and not draining them. I always drain them and rinse them off. And you know, I feel there's enough starch in this recipe without adding the extra starch of the beans. So I always rinse them off and add them, and it comes out just perfect. All right, so we're gonna stir those up a bit. It's a nice consistency, but we're gonna add just a little bit more of our chicken broth. Because what will happen as it continues to cook, the soup gets absorbed into the pasta and it thickens a lot, and you sort of need to thin it out a little bit. You can sort of do that consistency to taste, but always have a little bit of chicken stock on the side so you can always adjust, add a little bit more if necessary. Okay, so we've added some more chicken stock, our beans are in there. We're gonna bring it up a little bit and let it simmer, maybe just for about 10 more minutes, and then we should be good to go. So let's give it a taste and see where we are with this. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a stir. Perfect, but we're missing one ingredient, and that's the best part, our Parmigiano. Now, if you like, you can use Romano as well. It is important, by the way, to turn it off when you put your cheese in, otherwise the cheese will stick to the bottom. So, shut your flame, and we're just gonna grate that right in there. You know, I'd say about a half a cup or so. And again, right off the block really makes a difference. Okay, we're gonna give that a stir. And we are looking good. Time to plate it. So here we have our pasta fagioli, and I must say it smells like Sunday. Okay, we'll give that a little bit of stir, and let's plate it up. Okay, see those beautiful beans and pasta. This is just such a comfort soup, especially on a rainy day. And what goes with pasta fagioli but a nice piece of bread? Okay, and I'm using my serrated knife here, Günther Wilhelm. Again, it's such a great knife. Love the feel of this knife. Cuts very easily. And we're gonna put that right on the side. Let's give that just a little more Parmesan. And there you have it. Thanks for watching Eat, Drink, and Bake with Andrea. Be sure to follow me on social media at Eat, Drink, and Bake, and you can visit my website for more recipes, eatdrinkandbake.com. And remember, it's all about great ingredients, step-by-step recipes, and enjoying time with friends and families. No competitions here. Enjoy. Until next time, thanks for watching. Cheers.